No doubt that China has turned a corner in its fight against COVID-19. Xi Jinping visiting Wuhan to show that China has won the battle against the deadly virus. Many are calling it state propaganda. Whatever the visit may signify, it was clear that the authorities did not want to leave anything to chance. Xi Jinping's interactions with the people of Wuhan was courteous but distant. State media images showed Xi Jinping wearing a face mask as he spoke via video link to frontline medical workers and patients. In Hubei province, an estimated 55 million people remain under strict quarantine. Hubei had announced that it would ease travel restrictions to allow healthy people in low-risk areas to travel throughout the province, but restrictions remained in place as Xi Jinping planned his visit to the province. Xi Jinping was seen walking through the streets of Wuhan, waving at people greeting him from their balconies. Several reports have emerged that show police in full protective gear staying with families during Xi Jinping's visit. Their job was to ensure a complete lockdown to avoid anyone approaching the Chinese president. Just 5 days ago, angry residents in a Wuhan residential complex hurled criticisms from their windows during Vice Premier Sun Chunlan's visit. So the people had to stay indoors, guarded by police in their own homes when the president was visiting. Once Xi Jinping completed his trips to the hospital and the residential areas, he spoke to local shop workers from a safe distance. He also sat down for a chat with the epidemic control workers. In short, Xi Jinping's visit to Wuhan was managed in a controlled fashion, ensuring that the leader never risked contracting the deadly virus. Around 70% of coronavirus-infected persons in China have recovered. Meanwhile, other countries, notably Italy, Iran and South Korea, continue to struggle with the outbreak within their borders. And now we're being joined by political and economic commentator Einar Tangen, joining us live from China's capital, Beijing, for more insights. Einar, thank you so much for being with us here on WION Fine Print. Talk to us. Xi Jinping.
I'm receiving no audio.
Xi Jinping, the president, making a big statement by visiting Wuhan, but the story behind that visit to Wuhan in terms of how stage managed it was is also to be noted. I don't know if you can hear us. Talk to us about the message that the president is trying to send with this visit to Wuhan.
Well, quite frankly, he's trying to instill some sort of confidence in the city of Wuhan and in China, and a message to the rest of the world. But it's not necessarily all smooth sailing, because he did it mostly by video conference. There are some people who feel that it was not face-to-face. One of the difficulties is that in the Chinese way of dealing with leaders, those who are responsible for his health have to take it very seriously. It's not his fault if he was become infected. It would be the fault of those around him. So it's a very delicate balance between his desire to show that he believes that China is moving forward, and also the concerns of his personal staff.
Right. There's also this talk of how stage managed this visit was. Clearly, you cannot take any chances when it is the president of the nation visiting the epicenter of a global pandemic. But the fact that you had police personnel inside people's homes just to make sure that nothing went awry.
That is not unusual. I mean, things are very, very much planning is China's forte. I mean, this is what they do best. And as a result, when they have a high priority personnel, a person like Xi Jinping, they're going to pull out all the stops. No one wants to be the guy who was responsible for Xi Jinping contracting the COVID-19. So you have a situation where everyone is trying their best to impress him, that they're concerned about his safety. But the fact is that he's there. There have only been 17 cases reported today of infection of this disease. There were 2 outside of that area in China, but both of the 2 outside of Wuhan were related to foreign travelers coming into China, not people from within. So, I mean, it's been a very aggressive action in terms of what the Chinese government has done. But 70 days is an incredible feat. If you talk to the WHO, CDC, scientists, they'll tell you that there's never been anything of this precedent and scale done in terms of physical distance, social distance, in combating a virus of this type.
Right, certainly. Einar, we've seen the president of China make a statement exactly once in public in all these 70 days, and this is the second time he's made a public appearance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the issues for the Chinese government was not to make this about Xi Jinping or the leadership or the party. This was simply about the mechanism by which the government is supposed to deal with emergencies of this type. If he had been coming into Wuhan, I think they could have, in essence, created a bubble around him. But, you know, the situation would have been that he was kind of looking like he was grandstanding. It's very clear that he wanted to make sure that everything was taken care of. You remember his first statement was extremely severe, and he said that, and there were actions. Those provincial and municipal level officials who were responsible for not taking this seriously enough were removed, and he made sure that from the government's point of view, everything that was necessary to combat this situation was taken. So now I think he is taking a public bow in terms of saying that he believes China can move forward. The main emphasis now is on the economic front and what kind of damage this has done and how quickly a recovery can be engineered.
Einar Tangen, our political and economic commentator, joining us live from Beijing with that perspective. Thank you so much for being with us here on the broadcast on WION The World as well.